Hey, what's going on, guys? Bob Mentality here, and today I want to talk to you about a couple different things. So first, how to handle a losing trade, especially if you get hit with a PR or something doesn't go according to plan, how to go ahead and take that loss, and also, number two, how to keep a positive mindset so that you can reposition for the next trade. Not every single trade is going to be a winner. It happens all the time. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you the majority of traders, of consistently profitable traders over the long term, have actually a negative win percentage. What I mean by that is they lose more trades than they win, but because of proper risk management, because of being able to capitalize when there's opportunity, and because of being able to take losses when needed and keeping yourself in this positive mindset, they're able to be profitable. So in this situation, I'm just going to walk you through a trade I took this week on Disney. It's what I'll start off with, and then I'll branch into how I finished the week up on Tesla. So, this week the ES has been selling off, pretty much all week. Here's the first. We had a nice move up to start, the future session on Monday, and pretty much since then it's been selling. So we've seen consistent weakness on beta, tech stocks. We saw travel stocks hold up for a little bit, and then those started to sell off. Everything pretty much sold off. There was some rotation into value, just basically dividend payers, but that also started to sell off. So we saw selling across the board. Even crypto was selling off. So we saw a lot of weakness come into the market. So early in the week, I took the loss, went back to cash, and waited for my moment to jump back in and capitalize when I saw beta falling into significant demand with a lot of positive cash flow, call flow. And I went ahead and put the risk on, and it paid. But I wouldn't have been able to do this if I had a negative mindset, right? If I wasn't looking for the trade or I was sulking, I wouldn't be able to capitalize on the opportunity we had today. So I'm just going to jump into it, guys, with a trade recap. So starting off the week, the market's looking good. No significant rollovers right now. We're consolidating around that 3,900 magnet area as we have been for the past, 2 weeks, right? And I'm looking at Disney. So the reason why I'm looking at Disney, I'll show you what I saw, okay? This is what I saw, right? So this was the chart history I had available. I saw us set a high here at 200, pull back to 185, and we were consolidating sideways here, okay? Just consolidating sideways. So what I ended up doing was, let me pull this up here for you. I bought 10 of the Disney 205 calls for March 19th, a little over 2 weeks out at the time, for $2 each, right? And so I bought those when we were sitting at about 194 on the stock. So we're sitting right around here, okay? Bought them on this day, and I was looking for us to break to the upside over the 196 supply and then move up towards 200. And I was going to start peeling pieces off as we approach 200, right? The chart looked really good. I mean, you zoom out, look, this is what I saw, right? Moved right up, consolidating right below 200 supply. I thought we were going to get the breakup, so I went ahead and bought those calls, right? Well, I also doubled down not long after that, and I said, well, we're at 194 right now. If we pull back towards the day lows 193, I'm looking to add, get long. So I wanted to add some size. So what I did was, I sold 190 puts. So I sold these to collect premium, collected 90 cents each for those for the same expiration. So if we pulled back, I would think we might pull back for a second. I catch a fill on selling this premium. We bounce back up. My calls go up. These drop in value. So I'm kind of paying myself along the way. And that's kind of how I wanted to play it, right? Well, guess what happened, guys? Sometimes trades do not go your way. And what's important to remember is you can't control what happens to you in your trade. What you can control is how you react to it, okay? So let's jump into this, right? Disney got hit with a press release, okay? They announced that they were going to close 60 of their brick and mortar stores to expand into e-commerce, all right? So guess what happened to Disney, right? Let me scroll over here. Boom, we dumped into the close, right? That same day I got the entry, and then, did we bounce up after hours? No, we started pulling back down here to 190. So this was not a part of my trade plan. My trade plan was we would hold the 193 area to make a move back up towards 196 supply, break over that, head to 200. When we broke the lows and had a negative PR after hours, that is a no-go for me. One thing, trading over the years, if something you didn't predict happens, especially if it's a fundamental catalyst, get out of the trade. You can't control that announcement, right? What you can control is how you react to it. This is how you manage risk. Don't get emotional. Cut the loss, and that's how I trade. Okay. So, what happened with that? I went ahead and sold the 105s at $1.50 each, so took a $500 loss. And this is the first trade I put on in March, was Disney, right? Immediately lost half a stack, right? Man, so what about those puts? Took those off, lost 60 bucks on those, okay? So as soon as we got the open, I set limit orders. Let me jump over here. As soon as we got the open, boom, Disney popped up to 192. I had to limit orders between 190 and 192 to fill me on the exit stop loss for these, because this was not a part of my trade plan. We pulled all the way back to 190. We were opening kind of weak. We could easily flush 190. And I talked about that in my chat room that morning. So I took the stop on those, took that $560 total loss. And as you can see, we continued down all the way to 184. If I had held on to these positions, I would have been down a couple grand, no doubt. On this pullback, it would have been rough, and I might have ended up stopping out down here when it got into the $2,000 range. Taking a huge loss. I would want to go ahead and get out of that, right? Even though we did bounce up into the close, when you see intraday, let me jump into the 5-minute. When you see the significant selling here the next day, and I'll zoom in just so you can see just this portion. Huge rollover, bounce, failed to hold VWAP, huge rollover to the close. Keep going. I'll be sitting here thinking we can go to 180, right? So on this pop-up, I went ahead and stopped out, right? So I basically top-ticked my exit on the day, and we rolled over after that. So imagine if I would have been stubborn, right? And I said, well, I'm going to double down. I can't be wrong. I control the stock market. The stock market doesn't control me. I would have got killed on this trade, okay? I would have probably would have held those puts, got a sign on those at 190, and been down on stock, right? Based on what I know right now. And I would have been in a negative mindset. Why? Because I would have been beating myself up afterwards because I didn't follow my trade plan. I didn't stop out when I said, and I doubled down and compounded my loss. It would have been a disaster. And if I was in that negative mindset, I probably would have took the rest of the week off. If I would have taken the rest of the week off, I never would have been able to capitalize on the opportunities that I had today. This is why, I always say in my room, and the guys, they hate when I say this. They hate it. But it's the quote, it doesn't even matter. And because that's the reality. Okay, so what? You take a $500, $600 loss right off the bat your first day of the month. Just because you take that loss does not necessarily mean that you'll take a loss tomorrow or the next day or the next day or the next trade, right? That specific trade didn't work out. So you take the loss and you move on. Keep that positive mindset. Remember, it doesn't even matter. One trade does not define your career as a trader, if you want to have a career as a trader. So you have to develop that mentality and keep it moving, so you can position yourself and have that mentality, bot mentality, so that you can control your emotions and trade like a machine. That's why I say that. So jumping back over, let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the month. So I took that loss to start the month, $560, and I sat and waited Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, until today, Friday. I went ahead and jumped back in. So on the ES, as you can see, we started selling off really hard. Huge dump yesterday. I bounced into today, and we just saw weakness on beta. I was looking to get long a lot of stocks. As long as they pulled back heavily into supply, I was going to get long that. I was talking about this more in chat. I'm not going to get in depth on it, but pretty much names like Tesla. Okay, names like Tesla. Check this out. There we go. Huge downside. This thing's just parabolic to the downside. We're pulling into 500. I knew in the 500s a lot of people would have buy orders set. And so I was looking to get long into that 550 area. I talked about that, between 500 and 550. I put that on my watch list, the day before this pullback occurred. Amazon, I was looking for that pullback to 2,900. 2,850, 2,900 was like the ideal area. And look, we pulled right back into 2,900, which was the demand I was looking to buy. I talked about this the day before. And some other different names. But just focusing on Tesla, here's what I did. So I kept my positive mindset. I prepared. I waited. We opened up, got a huge rollover down in Tesla, pulled back into this 550 area, and right here in the 550s is when I went ahead and got long. So I'm going to pull this up. So what I went ahead and did, market rolled over. I got long Carnival, RCL, Amazon, and Tesla. I'm only going to be talking about Tesla today, right? So all these I definitely made money on, and I'm still holding CCL and RCL, but I'm just going to talk about my Tesla trade for right now. So I bought 2 of the Tesla 700 calls at $20.85 each for April 16th. Expiration was a little bit far, but I kind of planned I'd have to hold this for a little while before we got a significant bounce, and I wanted to leave some room to add a little bit lower because I knew once we did get the bounce, there'd be a lot of value in it. So I wanted to give myself some time. Well, so turns out I didn't need to. So I sold one of them at $27 the same day I bought them today. Sold another one at $25.15. I didn't mean to sell the second contract. I set this limit when I entered the position, but the second contract I accidentally exited because I forgot I had the other piece sitting at 27. So whatever, I got all out, right? But if the idea is if I would have held longer, I would have been up more on these into the close. But for those two contracts, because I was able to stay in that positive mindset, I made $615 on the 27 strike, or the 27 price I sold. I made back the entire loss I took earlier in the week. And then on top of that, to go ahead and cushion it, I sold a second contract there, a little bit less, for $430. So that total gain is $1,045 in one trade, okay? That's not including what I made on CCL, RCL, and Amazon, okay? So because I was in a positive mindset, I was able to make back what I lost and then some more. I didn't let that trade that I took earlier and the unluckiness of getting hit with the press release in the middle of a trade affect my mentality moving forward. Why? Because it doesn't even matter, okay? It doesn't matter. That also goes for the gains as well. Just because I made $1,000 today doesn't mean I'm entitled to make $1,000 tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? Or Monday. So you need to always keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind, and just keep that mentality, guys. That's what I really wanted to communicate today. I thought you guys would get a lot of value out of it. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Tesla bounced. You see it soaked the 550, bounced up into 600. I sold it right around this push, the 580, 590 range. If I would have held longer, I would have been up more into the close. But I set those limits, took my profits, and I'm back in it. So yeah, that's all I had to say, guys. I want to just communicate that for you. If you're interested in joining the chat room and learning how to trade like this and working with me on a day-to-day basis, I have information on that in my description box below. You can sign up on Patreon. If you want to reach out, leave a comment. I'll be answering all questions. You can shoot me an email if you like, and we can talk. I'd love to help you out however I can. And remember, guys, to stay focused and develop that bot mentality, which is a trading mentality where you learn to eliminate your emotions so you can trade like a machine, guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.